I believe that all businesses struggle with the same challenges and problems. There's leadership, there's personnel, there's processes, there's getting clear on their vision and putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together in the right order and minimizing catastrophic mistakes. So one of the things that I think that we can do as a team at Contractor Dynamics for our content is share some of the things that we are going through as we continue to improve and grow our company, as I level up my leadership, as we build leaders on our team, as we hire more people and build our team, as we figure out some of the challenges along the way. So today's episode is a conversation. It's not really an interview. It's a conversation with our integrator here at Contractor Dynamics, Elizabeth Lytle. A unique circumstance where she just came back from maternity leave and she's coming back into a new role. We're putting a lot of different pieces in place here at CD. There's a lot going on. It's a lot to manage. It's stressful. We are more than getting through it. We're doing really well with it. And there's definitely some road bumps, bumps in the road along the way that we are navigating together. So one of the things that has really, propelled our growth in a quality way, not this 10x growth where things are breaking, but like growing pretty steady and making sure that things are quality along the way, is having our team aligned with the same vision and really just like doubling and tripling down on our communication, our feedback, our vulnerability, our transparency. So I wanted to hop on with Elizabeth to just give you an inside look as to how the sausage is made here, a look under the hood as far as how we are doing things at Contractor Dynamics, because I have learned the things that we're going through right now as a company. I have learned these things from coaches that I've had and other companies that I've seen and peer mentors to just, take what they're doing and adapt it to our company. So I hope that you can take what we're doing here and steal it if you want, adapt it to your company and use it to, minimize some of those mistakes. We're not going to eliminate the mistakes we're going to make, but maybe shorten that learning curve, minimize some mistakes along the way. So without further ado, here is my conversation with our rockstar integrator, Elizabeth Lytle. So what's up, Elizabeth? How you doing?
Hey, doing well. Excited to be here.
Welcome back. It's awesome to have you back. You've been back with us we're recording this, I think 2 weeks today, right?
Yep, 2 weeks. Feels good to be back.
Okay, good. I love the smiling face. Yeah, just give everyone a quick background. Elizabeth recently had her third child and she was out on maternity leave for a couple months from Contractor Dynamics. And we just want to hop on here and give some inside baseball as far as how we've structured our team, how Elizabeth has played a role in taking ownership of setting up the team for success prior to her going out, how she's come back into a new role, how we're transitioning and kind of figuring out the right people in the right seats and all that fun stuff. So I figured it would be, it's something that we go through with our clients. And I know pretty much all of our clients have challenges in this area. Now, how do I delegate and elevate? How do I get the right people in place? How do I hire? How do we make sure that we're not micromanaging? There's so much that goes into that. And I thought it'd be really valuable to hop on and share some of what we're working through. So does that sound like be valuable for the audience, Elizabeth?
Yeah, sounds awesome. Let's dive in.
All right. Are you sure?
I'm sure. Let's go.
All right. So yeah, let's, for those people in the audience who do not know who you are, maybe some of our newer clients, maybe some people that are newer to our audience, give people a background as to yourself personally, your role, your kind of track record with CD and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I am currently the client success director at Contractor Dynamics. I have a background in marketing and event management, and I am in Memphis, Tennessee. I found a video of some guys sitting on a couch talking about marketing training on YouTube and thought that looked pretty interesting and went through this program back in the day called FBAM. And I learned how to run some solid Facebook ads for a client of mine here in Memphis, Tennessee. Had such a great time in the program, hung out long enough they didn't kick me out, and ended up coming on as a very part-time marketing trainer. And immediately I drank the Kool-Aid and I loved it. And I was all in on the Contractor Dynamics brand because I saw something really different here, not only in the culture of remote work. I was amazed that there was a really solid culture in such a small team back in the day, but also I loved the way we were empowering people to really grow their businesses on their own. We were really giving people the education that they needed to take responsibility and ownership of their own marketing, which was awesome. I loved that education piece. Came on as a marketing trainer, like I said, started working full time here, and now I'm the client success director and absolutely loving it. Love the team that we've built here, and I really feel honored to work with the clients that we have. We have some really incredible clients here. I think my favorite part of this role is probably maybe two things. One is getting to know all of the clients that we have here. We work with some really incredible people who are doing some amazing things, who really want to empower people and provide people with incredible careers. And then also we are building such an amazing team of people who are here and really care about serving their clients and their community. They really care about leveling up and empowering each other. Really, really care about just being the absolute best that they can be every day. And so I absolutely love the culture that we're building here.
Yeah, thanks for being such a big part of it and being in the culture and building it as well. And that's like a first lesson. I always like to kind of extract some of these lessons as we're chatting. When you're putting out content, I know we're always yelling at you guys to put out more content. It's not just for generating a lead, it's for attracting amazing people like Elizabeth to join your team, right? So I don't know what video that was of me sitting on the couch talking about marketing training. I'm sure it was pretty bad because it was like probably 3 years ago. But like that goes to show you, like you never know. And that's such a byproduct of content that most people don't think about. Most of the people here on our team, except for maybe one person recently who was from LinkedIn ads, have come from our network, have come from social media, come from like seeing our content, a couple of former clients like Elizabeth and Sydney. And so don't overlook that. Even if you're not going to do marketing for the sake of generating leads, that's okay. But you want to attract top quality people to join and to run your organization, then, that's going to be a big part of it. So I'm glad that all worked out and, right place, right time. And, the more content you put out, the luckier you get. And it's not about putting out one piece of content and being like, oh, I put out this video and I didn't really attract anyone or generate any leads. Like, I have no idea what piece of content that was Elizabeth saw, but you gotta be in it to win it. So
yeah, I'll even piggyback on that and say one more thing. We have a client right now who he has a good problem. He is flushed with leads. And so he doesn't want to spend a ton of time on lead generating ads right now, but he is so excited to grow his team. But he is, as he calls it, picky about who he adds to his team. He wants to find the absolute best people who fit within his culture. So what he's doing is he's building out a recruiting system where he's showcasing the culture that's so important to him, that revolves around his core values, what's important for them in terms of working together and then serving their customers. And he's putting out that kind of content to attract the absolute best people into his brand so that he has a lot of different people that he's able to, choose from because he wants to protect that culture. And that's a huge part of building that content. So a lot of his content right now really revolves around his people and the way that they all work together, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. You don't just want warm bodies. Elizabeth and I interviewed someone, this is going back 3 or 4 months, and she seemed very qualified. And on the interview, my conclusion was that like she's just looking for a job where she can work from home, and that is her primary goal. And she doesn't really care about Contractor Dynamics. It was kind of obvious. And so we're like, nope, that's a pass. We're going to find someone that's really bought into the mission. So speaking of awesome people bought into the mission, one of the challenges that we have as growing businesses, I think, people can relate to, is like, what happens if the owner has to step away for a period of time, or if you as an owner want to go on vacation for a week, or there's a medical emergency in your family or something like that, and you have to step away. What would happen to your business? And this is something that we were faced with a few months ago when Elizabeth and I were in a meeting. She's like, well, I'm pregnant and baby's due in April, and we got a plan for that. I'm like, all right, cool. And I was very happy for her, still am. I honestly wasn't really ever worried at all, because being in business 10 years, it's like we're never coasting, right? There's always things are going to pop up, whether it's like a client that is not happy, or a project that doesn't go the way we want, or the end of the month financials aren't the way that we envision them to be, or there's someone that needs to go out on leave, or someone quits. Like, it's just like, all right, well, I'm hopefully equipped to be able to handle this, this challenge. And we have a leadership team that's awesome. I have a business coach who's awesome. So I have like my inner circle of people where I don't have to like figure out the next steps all on my own. And I certainly tapped into my inner circle to help me, help us to navigate this new situation that we're faced with. So Elizabeth is, for lack of a better term, like my right-hand person. She's client success director and is also stepping into the integrator role for those of you EOS nerds out there like us. And so that's a big deal, like right-hand person going out for 2 months. And that's what we want to dive into today, is how we were able to navigate that, like really without like skipping a beat. So before going out on leave, Elizabeth can dive into her plan that she had to set us up all for success, to make sure that, we weren't like working crazy hours or like stressed out or anything like that, and to make sure that we can continue growing and moving forward as an organization. So do you want to talk about your mindset there, Elizabeth, and what went through your mind when you found out, like, wow, I'm going to have a baby, I'm going to be out for a couple months. Like, what's going through your mind at that point? Because I know you're very, very family oriented and you're very career oriented as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons that I have really loved this work environment is because we really do work hard to make sure that in a situation like this, I wasn't going to return to fires. And that's a very common thing that I hear from people. Yep, I went on vacation, even for a week. Someone will say, I went on vacation for a week and I came back and it was absolute, hell when I returned. And we wanted to make sure that that's not the case for really anyone on our team. So my mindset at first was, oh man, can we handle this? And then I sat down and took a breath and looked at our team and looked at our processes and realized we are absolutely equipped. All we have to do is pivot. And that took building out a couple new processes. So what do we do when someone is going to take an extended leave? So we built a few processes to make sure that everybody on the team is equipped to be able to, they know who their direct report is. They know when this happens, this is the action that I take. They know how to communicate with which clients about what their action steps need to be. And all of those processes are quite literally documented in Google Docs, in a Google Drive, in the right place, so that everybody has access to know this is the plan in case this specific thing happens. Like you said, there are ebbs and flows in businesses, and when we serve clients, there will be hiccups, there will be things that happen. We wanted to make sure that we thought of as many of those cases as we could and had processes for how we respond to those, because we take our core value of extreme ownership extremely seriously here. Meaning, I'm not going to say, well, I'm on leave, so y'all just tell them, Elizabeth will get to it when we get back. No, we're going to handle all of these situations because we're all equipped and empowered to do that. So one of the things that I did, again, was create some processes, document those, make sure everyone had access to and was trained on those processes. And then I let all of my clients know, this is what's happening. You are going to be in excellent hands because I've trained this next person who's coming to hang out with you, take care of you, educate you. I have trained them not only on what you need to do next, but the progress that you've already made. So they're not coming in blind. And then we're going to put somebody in place who's going to be acting as the seat I was sitting in at the time of client success director, so that that person is equipped to answer those hard questions, make those hard decisions, have those conversations that are needed that come up, and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So that person on our team was Sydney. And she had been with us for a long period of time. She has great experience with our clients and has just incredible leadership qualities. And so I spent a month with her, a couple hours every single week, training her on the things that I did day to day, week to week, and overall through the month, to make sure that everyone was taken care of, not only that our clients were taken care of, but that our team can thrive as well. And Sydney stepped into that role beautifully. She was excited to step up. I was able to delegate those specific responsibilities to her and help her understand the whys behind those in order for her to step in and really be able to help everybody there. And I am just so thrilled to say when I came back, I was bracing myself, drinking that extra cup of black coffee to be ready just in case. And I came back and the transition was incredibly smooth. It's not that I couldn't believe it, but I was so pleasantly surprised that there weren't any fires, no fires at all. I didn't have to bring out the water hose. Everything was really, really smooth. And I had previous experience working directly with clients, and I was stepping into a role where I was no longer going to be working direct with clients, but really as the client success director working directly with our trainers who then work with our clients. So it was a big transition, and we were able to really make that happen through our processes and really empowering our people.
Yeah, thank you. Like that, it was incredible. As an owner of a business, like you're like, all right, well, I'm going to brace myself for working an extra 10 or 20 hours a week. I don't know. I'll figure it out, right? Drink more coffee. And with a combination of your prep and then Sydney completely stepping up, I know she definitely works a few more hours here and there, which is why she's taking a long weekend this weekend, well deserved. And it wasn't crazy. Like we just, we had a plan. We said, all right, like we even looked at it and said, hey, how many clients can we continue to bring on per month without breaking the system? And we had that, that target. And we stayed within that threshold, and it really worked out. And like, everyone took ownership, everyone stepped up, another core value. We help our clients and one another win. We absolutely helped one another win. We covered for people. It wasn't like, oh, Elizabeth's gone, I got to do this extra thing. Like there was zero of that. There were certain things where, just a few little things here and there that I jumped in to do and Sydney jumped in to do that I was like, all right, well, I'm excited for Elizabeth to get back so that we just have more hands to continue to implement some of these new things. There were a couple new, initiatives that I just kind of put on the back burner. There were a few things that projects that I wanted to start that I was like, all right, let me just wait till Elizabeth gets back so that we have a few more hands, a little bit more bandwidth to be able to handle those things the way they should be handled instead of, half-assing them, for lack of a better term. So, but yeah, everything went super smooth. And I love that you're able to jump back in without any, fires or anything like that. And in fact, the processes that you put into place, Lily, another marketing trainer on our team, was able to use recently when she went to South Africa for almost 3 weeks on vacation and safari and all that fun stuff. And she returned this past Monday. I checked in with her. She's like, yeah, everything's good, great, grand, wonderful. Because she set up the team for success when she went out. We handled everything, I believe, and she's stepping back into just, business as usual. So the fact that we had those things documented, the fact that you documented those things, now other team members have already been able to use those to set everyone else up for success.
I will say one of the things that really drives this, one of the only ways this sort of thing can happen is when you, like people like to say, hire and fire by your core values. Because if we didn't have people in place who genuinely are completely bought into the vision and the core values and are all in, there would be balls dropped because probably people would point fingers or, not be willing to step in to assist with something that technically doesn't fall into their seat responsibilities. So having people who are 100% clear on our core values and our vision, who we are and what we're about, clear on them and 100% bought into them is crucial in order for this sort of thing to be able to happen. I think it's the reason that, businesses who do this are ones who have people who are there. They have longevity in their team because people are bought in. Everybody's here to help everybody win. That's a huge piece to helping this kind of thing work.
All right, guys, quick break from the conversation. Elizabeth and I are talking about some really, I think, interesting topics here around leadership and team and communication and vision and culture and all that fun stuff. And one of the things that we alluded to is what we do here at Contractor Dynamics is we are a marketing training company. So we train roofing companies on how to do their own marketing, on how to build a marketing machine inside their company so that they can build their own brand, generate consistent appointments and sales, and grow with more predictability and consistency. we have a 12-month marketing training program called our Platinum Program that we work with contractors every single day, week in and week out. We've got a whole marketing training team working hands-on, one-on-one training, small group training, whole online university, private communities, some business coaching and things like that. So if you are ever interested in that, tap the link below or head on over to contractordynamics.com. Set up a time to talk with one of us here at Contractor Dynamics. We can walk you through that to see if it's a good fit for you in a no pressure way. We're not that company that is looking to bring on, 1 million clients. We have a really steady growth plan, as Elizabeth and I are talking about in this episode. So no pressure there. We want to make sure that, anyone we work with is going to be a great fit for us. Regardless, you schedule a call with one of us, you're going to leave with some more insights and nuggets about marketing and about your business that you can go out and implement immediately either way. All right. So feel free to reach out to us. Check out the link below. Go to our website, contractordynamics.com, and back to the episode. 100%. Yeah. So we've teased this a little bit. We've mentioned a few terms. We're talking about the EOS system on which we operate. And that has been a game changer for our business. And Elizabeth has really, again, taking ownership of that and, geeking out over that as we all have been drinking that Kool-Aid. It's been nothing but beneficial for us as a company, individuals, leaders, clients, like everyone. So tell us, talk about maybe not how we've implemented that, because that's a big, long process, but like the benefits of kind of going all in on EOS over the past, I guess it's been a year, really. It's only been a year. It seems like longer. So talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Again, like you said, geeking out over it, we could talk about it all day. There's so many things about EOS that have really been a game changer in the way I have been a leader on this team and the way that our meetings have been. But there are a few specific areas where I've really seen EOS benefit our company and really helped us all to grow personally and professionally. And the first is I really believe that it has made us clearer and more productive. Our meetings are more efficient and we're getting more done. I know that seems simple and basic, but one of the most common workplace memes that you see on the internet is like, this meeting could have been an email. And that EOS is truly one of those things that shifts that, because just the meeting structure alone, even if you just took the meeting structure for EOS, it would be a complete and total game changer because you're more focused, you're more efficient, you're tracking to-dos, there's more accountability. You are truly changing the way that people within the organization communicate and then the way that projects get completed. So that alone has been a game changer for us. We used to have meetings where we would talk about a lot and we would kind of solve issues, but there would be specific issues that would come up multiple times. And this has been a really good way for us to identify and really discuss and then truly solve. And that's been a game changer for us for sure. And then I think the other part of EOS that was really made clear to me is that everybody in the organization really needs to have seat and role clarity in order for everyone to be efficient and have the best working environment, but also be able to complete their role in projects effectively. And having that clarity of what each person should be doing, even if, as we're growing and transitioning, of course, sometimes we're still wearing many hats, but we're getting clearer and clearer and we're going deeper on what each of those seats should be. So like, who is that seat? What's their purpose? What are all of their responsibilities? What are their roles? Who do they report to? Who reports to them? That way there's clear accountability. Everybody knows what they should be doing on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis. They know the why of their seat. That's huge. That's important for people to be more effective. And it's the best possible way for people to be able to delegate and then, of course, elevate, as we've been able to do with some of our specific team members.
Yeah, the meeting structure, I mean, it sounds so nerdy, I know, but like we have a new client who you had a call with recently. We were talking about they have a lot of different departments. They're startup mode, but they're very well staffed already. Like they're built to grow. And like they don't really have any meetings, and like it's just like how do you get things done? So the team meetings, we have like department meetings. Even though we're a small company, we have different departments. And then Elizabeth and I and other team members, but specifically Elizabeth and I, her coming back into this new role and coming back in after being gone for 2 months, she and I are having weekly same page meetings for an hour and a half every Friday to like literally get on the same page with like anything that's going on. That could be personally, that could be more so professionally, obviously, what's going on, what questions do we have, how are we going to navigate this, the next hires we're making, the vision. It could be like mindset things, it could be like identity things. I think that's a big thing, is identity. Like as we're shifting roles, Elizabeth is elevating, I'm elevating. I'm used to doing so many things in the business. I'm trying to like detach my identity from like being a worker bee. Those same page meetings, I mean, we've only had 2 so far. We have another one tomorrow. That is like very good, valuable time spent, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that is valuable both for, a business where you guys all work in the same office. Absolutely. Because here's what happens is you feel like you talk to your partner or whomever, you feel like you talk all the time. You're always in the Slack channel or in the messages or like hollering across, to the other office or whatever. But until you have protected time where you're getting on the same page, those conversations are often little pieces, and you're never really able to 100% make sure you have full transparency. And full transparency is the only way to be able to work effectively together. So I would say for any business, but also for a remote business, I think it's absolutely vital. You have to have it because, again, we've got these random conversations that are pieces. So when we're able to get together and have that protected time where we're not paying attention to the notifications and we're not answering the Slack messages, we're truly getting on the same page to make sure we're the most prepared for our team for the next week. It's the best way for us to be able to show up our absolute best.
Yeah, 100%. And I chose Fridays for those meetings because for me, Friday is more like it's not a light day, but it's like more work on the business day. And it's like, I didn't want to jam that 90-minute meeting into like other like in the business meetings. I wanted to kind of like zoom out a little bit and get into that mindset of like on the business. And we don't really have like a tight agenda for that. But it's like when you're sitting there for 90 minutes, you're like thinking of things like, oh yeah, I need to tell Elizabeth this, or like, oh yeah, I had this meeting, like I totally forgot to like fill her in, or she can ask me the questions that maybe she's like not comfortable asking, or I can give her the feedback, or she can give me the feedback that like might not seem the most comfortable, but it's like what we need to give each other to enable us to get out of our own way, right? And just talk about those issues. And it's like egos aside, we have the common vision and the mission for the company, and that comes first. And it's like, well, if Joe's like not doing a great job at this, or Elizabeth's not doing a great job at that, like let's let each other know so that we can grow as a company, right? So we're not holding everyone else back as well. Because if I'm holding on to too much, or Elizabeth's not doing something the right way, like we're not only holding ourselves back, the company back, we're holding everyone else back from, potentially growing within the organization as well.
Yeah, one of the things that I do love about that same page meeting, both from what I've experienced just in the couple of times that we've done it, but also what I've heard from others, is that is a space where the people who are making a few of the people who are making big decisions in the business, they are vulnerable and transparent. And so when there are places where I think, you know what, Joe is way too much of a bottleneck for that, where we're undermining, someone on the team, or we're not empowering that person to do that, or we're just not instilling enough trust, or if there's some kind of an issue that we need to address, that's a safe space for us to be able to say, again, no one's pointing fingers. We are on the same team here, and this is the best way for us to move forward. We're able to just get that all out. And there's always going to be friction in a business, and those things need to be addressed. If you hold on to them, it's just like any kind of relationship. If you hold on to them, they're going to fester, and there are going to be other problems that arise. So if we can get all of that stuff out, and then we can come into our leadership meeting ready to go, prioritize both in our mindset and in our list of things that need to be discussed, that's going to help everybody really be able to function the best.
Yeah, the vulnerability thing that's accelerated my personal growth over the past 6 months. And I think the business growth as well. just being like, hey, I suck at this thing. I'm not good at it. Like, we need to figure out a way to get it done where, Joe doesn't do it, right? And in the past, it's like, as an owner, you think you have to be good at everything, and you're scared to be like, I'm not good at this, or I procrastinate on this because I hate doing it, or whatever. Those sorts of conversations have been a game changer, because the more that you hold on to that stuff, the more you're always going to be the bottleneck, and like, you're just going to stifle your growth. And we see it. Like, I see it with my history. I see it with our clients. Like, the more vulnerable you can be and be like, hey, I'm really good at these couple of things, but these other things, like, I suck at, or I don't like, or whatever. Like, we need to figure it out, right? That's been a game changer for me, and it's not easy, because we want to, as leaders, like, we want to like think that we can figure everything out, and yeah, maybe we can, but like, it might take me 40 years to figure everything out. And learn all the different aspects of the business, because we're building skill sets, as marketing, building skill sets in sales, in like the bookkeeping, the operations, like, they're all skill sets we need to build. And like, to me, there's just not enough time in my life to like be awesome at all those things. So I'd rather just like surrender, be like, all right, I'm going to hold on to these things. You guys have the rest. Let's figure it out. Right.
That's the power of a well-functioning business, especially when you have EOS in place, because you see this accountability chart. You have people in these specific roles who have these specific skill sets and gifts and things that they really love to do because they're good at them. And when you're able to let go of those things that you realize, I really should not be the one doing this. I feel like I maybe have to be, and I feel like maybe I've done it for so long. I forced myself to do it for so long. Well, when you find someone who's really amazing at that, let go. Let that person do it, because you're empowering them to be a leader, and they're able to really get in their kind of zone of genius and do that. And it's okay, as you, the leader of the whole business, it's okay for you not to do those. When you're able to empower someone else to do those and give them that seat, guess what? They're going to do a better job than you did, probably, and you're going to be a lot less frustrated. You're going to be a lot less stressed out. You're going to be able to show up much better than if you're forcing yourself to do all these things that really aren't in your zone of genius. That's one of the things that has really, really been a game changer for me in EOS, is I'm able to understand that it's really important to let go. You really want to simplify what you're doing. You don't have to be stuck in this churn where you're constantly doing and doing everything and burned out and like sort of proud of 80 hours a week. Maybe that's your jam. That's not my jam. And I don't think anyone on our team is super pumped up about working, an 80-hour week and being stressed out at the end of it and just living for the weekend. If you want to really build a life, design a life that you love, a part of your work, getting clarity there and empowering other people to do the things that they really love is the best way to do that. And I think that's one of the things that our team members love, is that we are very serious about, that 80-20, being at 80% capacity so that we have that 20% to take a breath, to zone out, to look at the 10,000 foot view, to, realign ourselves with the vision if we ever get a little stressed out, and to have that open atmosphere, like you said, being vulnerable, where a marketing trainer can come to me and say, I know you've asked us to do this specific thing, but maybe why? Or should someone else be doing this? Or, hey, I really don't, this is really not my area of expertise. Can I get some more training? Or can so-and-so help me with this? And creating that vulnerable and open atmosphere, I think is really, really beneficial for the longevity of a company overall.
Yeah, 100%. You said a couple words there I'm writing down: let go and empower. And so talking to the owners out there, I guess really anyone, I want to give you a couple examples of that. So we had one of our group roundtable calls this morning for clients, where we had maybe 6 roofing company owners on this call. Benny Fisher on our team was leading the call. And one of the guys is like, yeah, I'm just like, I could feel the stress like through the Zoom screen, like, because like we've all been there. And this week was actually a stressful week for me as well. So I'm like, I feel it, bro. I feel you. Younger business owner, just like doing all the things. Like, he's doing his own blog writing, and he's like, selling and estimating, and he's like managing production and like pulling over on the side of the highway to like, type out an email and things like that. Like, you guys can picture it. And he's like, yeah, but like, my guys call me for everything. I'll be in Home Depot and like, a customer will call me for this or whatever. And he's like, I can never really get in the zone and like get things done. And I get it. There's a certain point in your business, like startup mode, like that's kind of it. Like that's the jam, right? But like as soon as possible, we need to get out of that. And I think a lot of owners feel that, where you're like picking up the phone, you're getting messages all day, and like it can be a badge of honor. Like, man, I made like 196 phone calls today or something like that. Like that's not sustainable. And I would say to that, like, don't be so accessible as an owner, like intentionally, right? Like I want to be here for my team. I want to be here for my family, for everyone. Like, of course, if there's an emergency, yeah. But like, don't be so quick to answer your phone or answer a text message or be, the first one to try to answer a question because you want to feel significant or important. We use Slack as a remote team. Slack is a tool a lot of you, I think, use. And there's Slack messages will come through. There's one that came through this morning from one of our team members. And I wanted to jump on there and give my 2 cents on that specific question. And I held back. I'm like, that's not my job. Let Elizabeth or Sydney jump in. I trust that they'll be able to figure that out and, do whatever we think is best. Maybe it's not the answer that I would have given, but it's their answer. And that's even better because they're more equipped to answer that question. So like, just don't be so accessible, like if you don't answer the phone, it's amazing how people will magically figure out how to solve their own problems or to answer their own questions or whatever it might be, Those of you who have children, you could probably relate. Like, hey, your kid might be calling you or yelling from the other room, like, hey, I need help with this. I mean, it can be hard to ignore a yelling kid, but like if you can, they might figure out how to tie their own shoes or how to like clean up this spill on the floor by themselves, right? So I don't know, that was just a couple examples that came up today where I think like I'm training myself to like, I want to respond to things because I know the answer or I have an opinion and I want to feel important as the owner, but you got to let go and empower people to do that themselves. Because if I jump in there and answer that question, well, it's going to undermine Elizabeth's authority as a leader, and it's going to hold her back, and it's going to like train our other team members. Oh, well, just go to Joe with all the questions because he always answers. Like it's that's not the way to do it.
It's not, and if you continue to do that, you'll get stuck in this vicious cycle where the team knows they can just ask you. They can just have you do it. And then you get stuck where you're always answering questions and you're stressed out. And then your team is waiting around for you and relying on you constantly. And then you're irritated that the team seems like they can't figure anything out for themselves, but you created that atmosphere. And that cycle does not end until that owner or whomever that person is in that seat shuts the door and allows those people, like you said, to figure out how to tie their shoes or clean up the spill. And I would argue that's one of the best things that you can do, not just for yourself, because you need that, but also for your team. Because when they're able to do more like that for themselves, and then you can even do things like create a process. So instead of, having to open your door, you can slip your piece of paper with your process on it underneath the door and they can read it and then they can do it themselves. And they can teach the other team member how to do it and the other team member. And then you can open your door and all your team members are going and following those processes and doing those things. And you're not stuck on this loop where you guys are all frustrated at each other because of that bottleneck situation. So yeah, it's a really difficult thing to do. But once you do it, once you rip the Band-Aid off, you'll realize how much better everyone is when you do that.
Yeah, and take baby steps. So, a lot of people listening, watching might be like, man, like, okay, that I get the ideal, but like, you don't understand. I'm like in the weeds right now. And like, I am kind of in the weeds on a lot of things right now too. So I get it. But like, start with a day. Maybe you take a Friday. Maybe you plan for it a month out. It's like, all right, I'm going to take July 21st. I'm going to take that Friday off. And I'm going to go to the beach or go to the lake or do whatever, go skiing with my family. And let's just test it out to see how everyone does without, calling me, as the owner. And then you'll probably come back and you'll probably realize everything went fine, which can be a kind of identity things. It's like, oh, they didn't need me, right? So then it's like, what is your value to the company? Just yesterday, I think I messaged Elizabeth and I said, hey, I'm going to be on family vacation in a little less than 2 months from now. Just, think about like, I don't think I'm going to actually do it. I don't think I can do it, but I want to be able to like not bring my phone or computer and like everything's fine. Right. So I said to her, like, let's just keep in mind some of the things for which I'm the bottleneck, and let's make processes in the next 7 weeks before I go away so that everything runs smoothly. And it's a test, right? And just plan for those things. So it might not be realistic for you right now, but plan for those things. Say, hey, within the next 7 weeks, figure out anything that Joe is a bottleneck for and figure out a process for that, train someone else on that. So when I do go out, just like Elizabeth went out on leave for 2 months, everything continues to run smoothly. And then maybe, down the road, maybe next year, like, I don't know if I have any ambitions to do it, but like, what if I go away for a month and can everything run smoothly? What's going to break? Or just like play that scenario out. If I'm not here for a month, what breaks? And then that helps you identify like where you need to build processes. So I think that's a really helpful exercise. You might not feel like you can do that right now, like plan a day, then plan a long weekend, then plan a week, and just kind of play that out and see like what breaks. And that tells you what you need to build.
We have a client who I worked with for several months before I went on leave. He's a younger business owner, has a roofing company, and his company also does siding. And one of the areas in which he found he could not let go was on the production side. And he would say to me multiple times in meetings, well, no one else can do this. I have to do this. I'm the only one that has this knowledge. And so I dug in a little bit and figured out what the knowledge was. And it turned out it was, someone needed to learn a program, and then someone needed to learn what numbers to put in what slots, basically, for some specific forms. And I said, well, it sounds like the solution to that is if you want not everyone to call you every single time, you need to go through production, which is going to be every single day, multiple times a day, then here's what you do. Go write on a Google Doc or record yourself, on your screen doing this process. And then that is such an asset, because guess what? Now you can pass that off. You're not the only person that can answer that. Someone else can, or the computer can. You can literally send someone an email with a file that says, here are the ways that you can do this. And once you create a few of those, you'll start to see the other areas where you're the only person that can do that, and you can dig into why you're the only person. And then you can start to give those to other people on the team. And then again, you're going to be able to take that vacation or whatever. But it's a hard thing to do at first, and it does take some time. It's not like you can just say, all right, we're going to test it out. I'm going to go on vacation tomorrow. Yes, you're going to want to create a process first. And that will take a little bit more time. It's going to take some time to, go through it and make sure you record it or write it out. But once you've done that, it's amazing the things that can happen, the growth that can happen. Because without it, everyone's growth is stunted. Literally everyone on the team cannot move forward. It's not just you. It's not just the people around you. It's truly everyone. So once you're able to create those things, it's amazing the progress that you can have.
Yeah, and 100%. And you as an owner do not need to create all the processes, right? So like we do it all the time where I'll record a Loom video, like sharing my screen. Elizabeth will do it. I'll give it to someone and be like, let's make a process for this. Make sure we have a process for this. And that's something that holds back growth, because it's like, you're an owner, you're wearing all the hats, you're working all these hours. You're like, I don't have time to make a process so that I can delegate it, because I can get this thing done in 10 minutes. But if I have to make a process, it's going to be an hour, and I don't have an hour. I'm just going to do this thing. So my thing is like, all right, how can I, and I don't do this all the time, but I try to do as much as possible. How can I like document what I'm doing? So this is the last time I do this thing. And other people on your team can create processes, just doesn't have to be you as the owner. So that's a big mindset shift too.
Yeah, that's a good one. And the thing is, Joe maybe doesn't love to sit down and create a process. I love a process and a system. And it doesn't take me the amount of time that it maybe would take Joe to sit down and have to write that whole thing out. We can both get it done, but I enjoy it and I can get it done quickly. So when he shoots me a quick Loom video and sends it over, I'm able to then sit down, watch the Loom video, go through and figure out where we can tweak things. I might shoot another video. I might write down a Google Doc, put it in a certain drive, share it with certain people, go through that training with them. But that whole process that I just went through, he is able to let go of by creating one quick video. And that could have been something that we talked about for a really long time. But once he does that one step, then he's able to give it to someone who really enjoys that and can do that quickly. And then just like that, the whole team is aware of how to work through that process. So it's amazing the magic that can happen when you just let go.
Yeah, it really is. And real quick, like you mentioned, enjoy. And that's something that is an eye opener as well. It's like, just because I don't enjoy doing something in my business doesn't mean that like someone else doesn't love it, right? We all have different interests and strengths, and something that I hate might be something that Elizabeth loves, vice versa. So that's, I think a lot of times, like as an owner, there are things that I hate doing that I feel bad delegating, because I'm like, why would I want to give this to someone else? Because I like Elizabeth. I don't want to give her this crappy thing. But she's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, oh, yeah, I can knock that out in 2 minutes. That's no big deal at all. And so that's an eye opener, too. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's not someone else's strength. So we have a few more minutes here. I got to wrap soon. Anything else that you wanted to cover on this topic and really get across to our audience as far as, documenting our process for going through all this and some tips that have helped us along the way?
Yeah, I'll say one of the most important parts of getting clear, getting on the same page with your team is to, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I see this really commonly in businesses where there are a lot of segmented conversations that happen. And in those miscommunications, the balls will be dropped. And one of the best things that you can do is get everyone together. We onboard clients all the time who have, like they've got a sales meeting, or, they've got like one random quarterly, like the team gets together to go play Topgolf or whatever, but they don't necessarily have meetings where everyone gets on the same page and where specific people share what's going on maybe in their department. And when you're able to get everyone on the same page with what's going on, that's a huge way to help everybody not only understand where they need to step up, but help everybody understand the why of what's going on. And I say that because in our business, for example, we've got, people who are working on marketing. We've got who never talk to clients. We've got people who work every single day. They have multiple people, who meet with clients. We've got people who don't really hang out with the clients, but they hang out with the prospects, right? So those are very different areas of the business, but it's so important for us all to come together and share what's going on in those areas so that we're communicating and we're all able to effectively tweak processes and tweak communication in order to make sure everything runs seamlessly. And that's one thing that I do think that a lot of businesses could really benefit from is, sit your sales team and your marketing team together, sit them down together and have them communicate with each other. Sit your CEO and your COO to have them come together, have your financial people talk to your sales guys, make sure that there's open communication throughout the team in order for everybody to do their jobs, their work in the most effective way possible, because there are going to be people in different departments who see something that someone in another department does not see or does not experience. And you have to have that communication in order to move effectively. And then if you have not looked into EOS or don't know anything about EOS, I would definitely recommend just taking a look at it. Even if you feel like business is awesome, it's going great. Like we talk about, there are ebbs and flows of businesses in general. And no matter what you're doing, at some point, something's going to break. And if you're really wanting to grow and grow in a strategic way where things are not burning up and breaking as you're growing, it's an incredible system for everyone to have clarity and a lot less stress in their overall life. So I would highly recommend checking out EOS. I would say reading maybe the book Traction or the book Rocket Fuel. Those are some solid books right there if you want to learn anything about that system.
Awesome. Yeah. As far as that team meeting goes, we have one every Monday at noon. And guess what? It's in the calendar. Okay. If it's not in the calendar, it ain't going to happen. So don't be like, oh yeah, we should do this. Put it in the damn calendar and just make it happen. Even if not 100% of the people can show up, that's fine. All right. You have 90% of the people show up and you get on the same page. It's huge. So yeah, Elizabeth, this is fun. I think that we can make this maybe a regular segment to check in as we go through this process is, we're elevating our roles, I guess you could say, here at CD, which is we have some updates that have happened this week that we haven't even shared with our team yet. So I don't want to go too much into that, but checking in on a regular basis, just, how we're going through things, some of the challenges and some of the things we're learning. I think that's really valuable. And it's another way for you and I to get on the same page as well. So do you have time in your busy schedule for a couple of fun questions to we call it a lightning round, just kind of bring it down to a personal level?
Yeah, let's do it. Well, this was blocked off in my calendar. So yeah, I've got the time.
All right, cool. I love it. We have 3 minutes according to my calendar, but I can go over a little bit. All right, so lightning round, quick answers, quick questions. Number one, you have a husband and you have 3 kids, but this weekend you find yourself with a 1-hour car ride by yourself. What are you doing with that hour?
That's a great question. If I was in the car for an hour by myself, to be honest, as nerdy as this sounds, I would probably listen to a podcast on some EOS stuff. I've been listening to the Rocket Fuel podcast, and man, I have gleaned so much from it that it's been really firing me up and getting me excited. So I would probably listen to that, or maybe truly just ride in silence, because when you have 3 small children, 5 and under, some silence is something that you rarely ever get. So one of the two.
All right. That's awesome. I think that's a good question. I actually found myself with an hour solo car ride the other day, last weekend. And it was unexpected. So I was like, oh, what do I do? Like, who can I call to catch up with? Like, what can I do? So I made a couple phone calls, and then I just listen to music and roll down the windows. Like sometimes, I love podcasts and I run a lot, listen to a lot of podcasts. Sometimes you just you get podcasted out and you're just I just need music, Obviously, I think it's obvious you're sitting in front of a bookshelf, unless that's just a prop. You read books. What are you? Are those real? Very academic. What are you currently reading?
I'm reading 2 books right now. I'm rereading Customer Success Manifesto, all about, providing the absolute best customer experience. And then I'm also reading Crushed It by Crushing It. It's a Gary Vee book.
Yeah, a little Gary Vee shout out. Cool. And that's awesome. I'm honored. I did not I don't tell Elizabeth what to read. Obviously, we have books here that we all try to, get familiar with. But the fact that she's reading the Customer Success Manifesto on her own because she wants to is I'm very grateful to have team members that are just love what they do. That's awesome. So thank you. I got to read that too, by the way. Ben and Jay, got to give them a shout out. Guys are amazing. What is your next travel destination?
Well, I'm going to be in Columbus next week for our marketing workshop. Super excited about that. We'll be down there for, I guess 2.5 days, three days-ish with some travel. Can't wait to meet everybody there. So excited to see the team in person. Love any opportunity for us to hang out in person. So
yeah, we'll be meeting up in person, meeting some new team members that we haven't met in person yet. Some clients will be there. Yeah, that's a week away, man. That's going to be exciting. So cool. And finally, Elizabeth, you've been putting out some more content. Obviously, this is going to be content, but you've been putting out some written content as well. How can people get in touch with you or follow some of your content to learn more about, everything that you do?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I've been really working hard on the LinkedIn side. Joe used to scream at me about getting my LinkedIn profile all fixed up, and I've been going deeper over there. So any of those 3 would be great.
Cool. I haven't even noticed you've been more active on LinkedIn because I'm not really on LinkedIn as much as I should be either. So we need to figure that out. Definitely a big opportunity there. But yeah, Elizabeth is a rock star. She's an integral part of our company, obviously, if you haven't gleaned that yet. And I'm grateful that she came on today. And she's going to be hosting some of these podcasts coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited for that. It's not the Joe Show. It's the Contractor Dynamics Nailed It podcast, I guess you could say. I don't even know. But thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, I hope that brought you a ton of value. I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was fun for us to kind of open up and share with you guys how we're doing things and share some of the journey here. And as I mentioned, I look forward to doing these on a regular basis with Elizabeth so we can check in once in a while and look at our progress, look at some of the learning lessons and share those with you so we can all level up together. Feel free to share this out with your team, share this out on social media, take a screenshot, share it on your stories, leave a comment if this is somewhere where you can leave a comment or a review. And of course, reach out to myself or Elizabeth if you would like to follow our journey in more detail. We truly appreciate your time and your attention in consuming this audio, consuming this video. We appreciate you. Hope it brought you a ton of value, and we'll see you soon.